Ross Coulthart has just said that the Nimitz Tic Tac, the 2004 Nimitz Tic Tac, is Lockheed-Martin technology. Now, he suggested this before, but now he's saying it's definitive. So let's talk about the Tic Tac. Get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. All right, here is what Ross had to say on an episode of Need to Know.
I'm going to leave you with one thought today, Bryce. I now know categorically that the Tic Tac is Lockheed-Martin technology. Categorically. Okay. The Tic Tac is Lockheed-Martin technology. Why are we being lied to?
Yeah, I have the same reaction that Bryce does. Okay. I don't know about that, but we're going to get into the pros and cons of it. Now, I think it's really critical with this sort of information to know who his sources are when he's saying something definitive like this. Here's what he said about his sources.
I'm saying basically is...
Why are you saying this, by the way? Where is this from? How do we know this? What's going on?
I'm sorry, Bryce, I can't go there.
Yeah, so he's not going to be able to reveal his sources, which is standard, I guess. But at the same time, when he's saying something definitive like this, it's really crucial to understand sources. Now, of course, this corroborates what Stephen Greer has said in the past.
And David goes, oh, yeah, that was, it had to be alien. I said, sir, with all due respect, that was how the Lockheed skunk works.
Really? That made the craft?
Yeah, that was one of ours.
And
he is now.
So, because Fravor wouldn't say that now.
Oh, he did say so recently.
But in front of Congress, he says that.
He's been told since then. He's corrected. So I said, no, that came out of the Lockheed Skunk Works. It's one of ours. It was something that they did on purpose to see this global organization to see how our military would react.
So you think that Tic Tac was Lockheed Skunk Works? Wow.
To see how our military would react. Okay, all right. Well, Eric Burleson was also fed a similar line.
I've had two people come to me that say that the Tic Tac is a Lockheed-Martin creation. The latest person that came to me says he has video of the first, second, and third iteration of the Tic Tac, and he's going to show me. So I'm trying to set that up. The way he describes it is that they had a prototype. They've made changes to it. They've made it more advanced. And then now it's in iteration number 3, which I did see a photo of, and it looks like pretty advanced military like craft, like a plane, but it's clearly human made. It's nothing that I've ever seen, our military has, but his claim is that they have discovered a propulsion that's a new type of propulsion. They used it in the first iteration, which was the Tic Tac. They have an intermediary one that they are more advanced with. And then now they're putting it inside of what looks conventional so that it's not obvious.
Disguise. Okay, so there's some problems with that. There's some holes in that story. So we're going to get into that. Now, Jeremy Corbell has said that what Commander David Fravor was told, and presumably Greer and Burleson, is what I call internal disinformation, what he calls passage material.
So I was talking with Commander Fravor the other day, and he shared some information that came to him that was just, email style. But George, it was passage material. And I don't know if people on our podcast know what that means, but sometimes in SAPs or special access programs, they have what they call passage material. It's material that is leaked to people. People try to hit us with this shit all the time, George, like false information as journalists, like they're going to use our mouths to their benefit.
Okay, I've gone over his comments before, but I wanted to refresh you if you hadn't seen that before. This internal disinformation, the truth is so compartmentalized. Even if you're, have a need to know some stuff, they don't want you to know everything. And they don't want you spreading the truth, so they will spread this disinformation internally with the hope that you don't realize the full scope of things or the reality of things, and maybe even that you leak it to the press and the media and the public gets a hold of this false information. So yeah, that's what Jeremy calls passage material, and he thinks that's what happened with Commander David Fravor when he was told that it was a Lockheed-Martin craft of some sort. Now, let's go over some of the pros and cons of this information, which is really, really interesting information. And, for all I know, it could be a Lockheed-Martin. I would be very curious to see that information, those photos and videos that Eric Burleson is talking about, that he said he was trying to get access to, proving that this is man-made technology. Now, I said I was going to get into some of the, the holes in Eric's information, or the story he was told, that this represents some breakaway propulsion. And hey, I mean, it definitely represents some exotic propulsion. No lie. But okay, so let's go over the totality of the Nimitz incident, the Tic Tac incident in 2004. There were up to 100 craft of these Tic Tacs seen over the course of a week off the California coast. They were coming and going from space to sea level and back up again over and over again, like in a second or something, without creating a sonic boom. So these are craft that are not interacting with the atmosphere in any conventional sense. They have some sort of field around them. Something like that. They're generating some sort of field where they don't have to interact with the atmosphere, allowing them to pass through it without creating a sonic boom. And they obviously have some huge energy source that's allowing them to move so fast. Again, from sea level to space in about a second. Again, without creating a sonic boom. Highly exotic technology. It's not simple anti-gravitic, Townsend style anti-gravitics or anything like that. This is some serious technology. Now, do I believe the control group has technology like that? Yeah, I think they do. But we're going to continue. All right, so the Tic Tacs were interacting with a larger submerged object in the water. Now, presuming that's all part of the same group of beings, whether that's human or otherwise, operating these vessels, and the Tic Tacs weren't representing a different group in the water ship. The submerged object wasn't representing a different group. Assuming that's all part of the same group of people or beings, then the control group has some large USOs, or whatever we're going to call these exotic submerged vehicles. Now, at the end of the week, and the Tic Tac incident itself with Commander Fravor, it was engaging with him in this little dogfight thing, and then it zipped off, and then it showed up again at his cap point, the rendezvous point for these jets. So does that sound human? Yeah, I mean, I can totally see a control group operator effing with Commander David Fravor by having the Tic Tac show up at the cap point, at the rendezvous point. Could totally see that as a possibility. Now, at the end of the week, the fleet of Tic Tacs boogied off to Catalina Island in that direction, where it vanished, as far as we know, from scopes, from sensors. Now, Catalina Island, notorious for ET and exotic, phenomena of various sorts. It seems to have an underwater ET base there, or an underwater exotic base, if we're going to, throw out the possibility that that's a human base down there. If you've seen the movie A Terror in the Sky, a really brilliant documentary with really brilliant findings, especially at the end of the movie, where we get to see the Terror in the Sky, which is UFOs, a bunch of UFOs coming out of what appears to be a portal in the sky over Catalina Island. So Catalina Island has this, underwater UFO base, and they're coming and going from space, right? From portals in the sky, or whatever, right? So the fleet of Tic Tacs is going in the direction of all of that activity, which means that the control group is probably connected to all of that activity in some way or other. Underwater UFO bases, portaling in and out of our, our planet. So is that possible? Do I believe the UFO control group is connected to all of that and is going off planet and interacting with ETs? Because some of that activity is very likely alien or NHI, if not the bulk of it. I believe the control group is going off-world. Absolutely. And are they, I don't know if that whole scenario quite makes as much sense as it could. But I can buy that. I can buy that. Now, of course, the Tic Tac, if it's reverse engineered technology, could it be reverse engineered from the Tic Tacs that Skywatcher is getting that do not seem to be nuts and bolts craft? What they're getting, a cylindrical shaped UAP that initiates movement from a hover with a vertical oscillation. While hovering, it appears shorter and thicker, but transitions to a longer, thinner shape when in stable flight. And we'll see how big it is in a second compared to a person. Pretty big, right? And what's really interesting about the Tic Tacs that Skywatcher is getting is that they're not fixed objects. They're not rigid. They are bendy, kind of noodly. They appear very Tic Tac-ish, in the sense of being a hard object, but they, if they'll do the zoom in, you'll see how they are bendy and noodly, not necessarily fixed and rigid objects, which the 2004 Nimitz Tic Tac appeared to be. So if they're reverse engineering, and then you can get a great visual on that. Let's see. I think that's about it there. But the Tic Tac in 2004 does appear to be more of a rigid object. If you're going to reverse engineer, this exotic technology from the, genuine NHI Tic Tacs, whatever Skywatcher is getting, would it mimic, its bendy, noodly properties, or could you make a fixed object out of that? I don't know. I think that whatever they're getting in Skywatcher is probably way more complicated than simple nuts and bolts craft. They're getting blobs, they're getting jellyfish. So possibly the Tic Tacs they're getting are completely unrelated in any way, even a reverse engineering way, to the Lockheed-Martin Tic Tacs that Commander David Fravor encountered. Now, does that whole scenario make sense? Do you think that Stephen Greer's idea that this, 100-odd, Tic Tacs over the course of a week were simply testing the Navy's equipment? I don't buy that. I don't think that makes any real sense. But hey, let me know if you disagree. I think that it could be man-made. It's possible. However, Tic Tacs have been seen historically for a long time. They were seeing, they didn't call them Tic Tacs. They called them, objects that look like butane tanks since, the 50s and 60s, if not long before. So did Lockheed Martin go back in time and show their Tic Tacs then? Or are those the Tic Tacs that Lockheed Martin's Tic Tacs, if they have them, are derived from? Or is that all internal disinformation, passage material, as Jeremy Corbell says, designed to muddy the waters? Now, in the same video, Ross Coulthart also says that he's been led to believe that the mystery drones are all Chinese, or at least that the inciting incidents were Chinese. Now, I'm not buying that, and I'll get into, reasons why tomorrow. But it could be that Ross Coulthart has indeed gotten a hold of some disinformation. That's where my mind goes. I don't know if the Tic Tacs were man-made or not. I can totally see how they might look man-made. But again, if they are man-made, they're highly exotic. They have some sort of field around them, so they're not interacting with the atmosphere. There's a whole bunch of them. It doesn't seem to be as basic as Eric Burleson's information would have us believe, where they are, simply, a product of anti-gravitics or the like. This is way more exotic than that. Way, way more advanced than that. The Tic Tacs, very exotic, very advanced. So I'm not buying that scenario. 100 of them interacting with a large submerged object going toward Catalina Island, the center of a lot of anomalous activity. Now, again, I fully believe the control group is plugged into all of that, but I don't know if that quite makes a lot of sense, especially the testing of the military equipment and, historical examples of Tic Tacs. But again, that could simply be the genuine NHI Tic Tacs that the, Lockheed-Martin Tic Tacs could have been derived from. Now, I'm very skeptical of this whole scenario. I tend to think it's more the Jeremy Corbell scenario where this is internal disinformation. But if you disagree, if you think this is validation for Stephen Greer, etc., or some other scenario where these are, man-made Tic Tacs, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you think, that's disinformation and that these are genuine NHI objects or craft, let me know your thoughts about that in the comments below. Let me know what you think it all means, how it might or might not relate to the information that Ross has about the mystery drones. Yeah, let me know what you think about it all in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you want to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below, or by becoming a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.